Take one.
You're watching the Questionnaire podcast.
What can they say?
You are checking out the Questionnaire.
What's your name again?
The Questionnaire.
Would you like to have questions?
I don't got it. I'm not that guy.
Submit yourself.
Super fun and entertaining.
This is the Questionnaire.
Kind of jerk crashes movie time. For real. I was watching How to Kill a Unicorn. Or wait, was it I Killed a Unicorn or something? Or, I don't know. It had Ant-Man in it. All right? That's all I know, y'all. Is it had Ant-Man in it. And like there was something about killing a unicorn and they were doing things. And I don't know. I was kind of getting into it. It was all right, but I'm not really sure about it. But this is the Questionnaire. Yeah, that means I am the unknown factor, a.k.a. that Wade Wilson of hip-hop. But according to Zay, it's the Nick Fury Samuel Jackson version because I say two words back to back that are kind of profane. But we tried not to do that on the show, right? This is season 3. You already seen Kevin Pereira with Chrissy Wiseman. We had a great conversation with them talking about A Better Place, both the movie as well as the comic adaptation coming from Chrissy. So you can go check that out right now, as well as I know you can hit up Vincent, and you can get yourself a copy from the director of A Better Place. You can get a copy of that signed by him. That was executive produced by Kevin Smith. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about unicorns either, right? We might get a little bit into horses, but like they're all in tombs and different colors. And I don't understand why. So we're going to get Ian on the house and we're going to figure it out, man. How goes it?
It goes so well. It goes so well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I guess you checked out the show. You knew the intro was going to be nuts. I don't need to prep anybody anymore. I'm not going to. Why should I prep anyone? Like, you signed up for this, man. You filled out the questionnaire. I don't even have it or looked at it at all. So, yeah.
I put my heart and soul into that thing. It took me 7, maybe 8 minutes. I don't want to make you feel bad, man. It's okay. It's all right. Anything that you need.
No. You ain't going to make me feel bad, Ian. If you think you can pull that off right now, you got another thing coming. I'm a hip-hop artist.
I'm not going to come into your house and make you feel bad, all right?
Well, you're not capable of it unless you do one real specific thing, and violence will inconvenience us both. So let's not do that, Ian.
No, I would not dream of it. I would not dream, not in a million years, sir.
I'm just saying, man, I don't know if you're a parent, but that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's the thing, man. But the thing is a bunch of tombs, right? And there's so little research for this episode, y'all. We're just going to let Ian just spill his guts about everything. Because I took a look, but like, I didn't realize that, like, I hit you up on, you're the first guy I've brought in off Reddit. I've never brought in an interview off Reddit before.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a long time lurker, short time poster, but I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it now, and I guess we'll probably talk about it. But I had a post on Reddit that got a tiny bit of attention. That is the thing that kind of facilitated this interview, right?
Yeah, because it was the Tombs post.
Yeah.
I don't know how I ran across it, dude. I'm not on. Like, if you talk to anybody from the team, I'm not on social media. I should use it more than I do. I don't.
Probably good though. It's probably good to not be on social media. It is a tinted lens to see the world through, and I think probably the less time I'll tell you what. After this Kickstarter, I'm looking forward to spending less time on social media. I can tell you that much.
And see, that's the thing though. As a creative, regardless of what it is at this point anymore, I mean, up to and including actors, you have to engage on social media to get the attention of individuals. And what does that make us as a society? We could go into a whole diatribe in that. We're about to not talk comics at all. We're just going to get...
we don't have to.
We're just going to get real weird and existential about it, all right?
Totally fine by me, man. That's what I'm here for. Well, here's the thing. We were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, and about how I couldn't do any of the stuff I do without the internet, right? And specifically, a facet of that is social media, right? So I think the issue is social media, like so many things, are tools, and you have to use the tools correctly, and you can overuse tools, right? And if I think you're going to social media to look for the way to think about things or to see which way the wind is blowing so you can make up your opinions on things, I think that's probably bad, right? I think You need to use social media what it's best used for, and whatever that is, keeping in touch with your friends, marketing your stuff. See, I stopped myself from cursing there. Marketing your things, all that kind of stuff is figuring out the why, figuring out the purpose of why you're doing the thing, right? And that's a big thing for me, is like understanding the whys. Like, why did I pick this medium? Why do I tell these stories? And again, if you know why you're using social media, it's a lot harder to get enraptured by it and kind of lose sight of what's important.
Maybe that's why I know what I'm using it for. Just hopefully, like, I want to promote this show because there have been so many great conversations on this show with probably people way more intelligent than me that for some reason put up with me. I'm still not sure why, right? And I want to get the show promoted, but then I start looking around social media and I'm like, I don't want to be on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's here was the struggle. Here was the thing that I had to figure out. Is like I made the grand plan, or perhaps gigantic mistake, of trying to run 3 Kickstarter campaigns this year, which is more. Yeah, I know, which is a lot less than some, but a lot more than I've done recently. And one of those things is again, requires you to be on social media for that kind of stuff. But it is figuring out what you want to say, right? Like, why are you promoting this thing? Like, I have not had a lot of success with check out my book and then putting the link into it. That's what every post is pretty much on Blue Sky these days. So I think it's important to like offer something up about yourself, or about the process of the book, or about what the book means to you. And that's more like talking to people, and yes, like less like yelling on a street corner. And I think that's the essence of like trying to make your social media worthwhile, right? Is like, I really try to avoid the post where it's just like, check out my book, it's horror and 36 pages and there's a hardcover, and then just posting the link, because that doesn't really offer anyone anything, right? It's easy to ignore that. But I think I got into this medium because I like telling stories, and I think trying to tell a story in your newsletter or in your social media posts to some degree is just as important when you're marketing a book as the story inside the pages.
So you got to make Twitter-sized stories. I mean, that makes sense in all sincerity. And like, I don't know. As far as social media, I think it might have a lot to do with the current state of the world going on recently. Why I'm so like, yeah, that's a lot. We won't. Part of me wants
to protect yourself. It's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to protect yourself from those things, right? And it's like, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but I agree with you that it's very important to protect one's energy. You need to, because that's your energy, and nobody's going to care about it as much as you do. The only people that you should probably protect the energy of more is children, in my opinion, because they don't have the full concept of what that is anymore. Those are the only other energies you should put above your energy as an adult. Or maybe your significant other, and there's variables in there. And I'm not getting into all that, right? But children always, children, you should put your energy first. Or you should put their energy first before yours. Beyond that, though, you have to. But at the same time, you can't take yourself so away from the situation of the world that you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but is that really hard anymore? I mean, it's not like if you don't go on social media for 3 days, like you don't know what's going on. Like, it's everywhere. It's pervasive. I mean, there was a recent event that happened this week, and like 5 people texted me about it. There's no way I'm not finding out about that. We live in the information age, right? And like the beginning of the industrial age, we have no clue. Oh, sorry. Almost, I make it 15 minutes.
Whatever. You almost 10 minutes, not quite. But I love that you're like, there's an event that happened this week. Like, you so didn't even want to mention that. What makes you not even want to mention that particular event? Because it did. It's something very prevalent that happened that's screwy that I think, you know what? I think people read more that might not have happened. That's my honest opinion, but that's not here nor there.
Listen, here's the thing. I think the majority of the problems in this country and probably across the world are from uneducated people, right? I think that is a disservice of the government that has been defunding educational programs for the last 40 years. It was something that my father used to bitch about in the 80s. So I didn't bring it up because I don't feel that the specificity of the event is germane to our discussion. It was a big political event, right? It was something shocking and horrifying and whatever. But I think the thing is that you'll find out about it. And I think the other thing is like, I think we have a desire to understand stuff, and you want to kind of absorb all the information you can about a thing when it happens, so you can have an understanding of it and you can kind of put it on a shelf somewhere. And the problem is that with disinformation and misinformation, there was so much stuff going on in the first 36 hours that like maybe that's doing a disservice. Maybe that much information that fast doesn't allow us to grab it and process it correctly, right? But the whole thing, going back to being on social media, and you know, I think you're absolutely right. Like, protecting your kids' energy is the most important, and managing your energy around your kids is important, right? Because that's really how you do it, right? But I think that's the whole thing. Is like there's cycles to this stuff. There's seasons to it. I'm on social media a lot right now. I've been on social media a bunch for the last couple of months just because I've been running campaigns. Or getting ready to run campaigns, and you know, it's not like you disappear for years at a time. I'll go back to posting once every couple of days rather than a couple of times a day, and it's like a respite. I view things largely as input and output, right? Like when I'm not writing or I'm working on a story, like I love tons of input. I love watching movies, TV, listening to music. All of that stuff informs what I end up writing. But then when it's output time, I don't watch as much because I don't want to be influenced by something I'm working on at the time, right? And it's that kind of cycle where you go in and out of things. It's also very tough to kind of realize that we're in part of a cycle right now. It's just worse than it's been recently, but I think the pendulum always swings, and things will get less hot.
Yeah, I've never had so many things of people watching the news live pop up in my YouTube feed of just short reels. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like, geez, though. All right, man. But I'm curious back to what you were saying. You said you don't like a lot of input when you're doing output, which I think that's an interesting way to put it. Have you ever caught yourself in a moment where you were doing something and you were like, oh, I just consumed this and I'm trying to put it out, and that's what?
No, but funnily enough, I do go back and find things, or I'll watch something that I didn't realize I pulled something from. Not directly, but I kind of got the energy from, and I can give you a great example. In Tomb of the Pale Horse, which is on Kickstarter right now, in the very first page, our main character in the book cuts his hand on a broken window. And we only call a little bit of attention to it. But throughout the book, in any page where you can see his hand, the cut, despite being bandaged, gets worse, right? It's very clearly the cut is infected, right? And it's not healing, and it's making him very sick by the end of the story. And that's like just kind of a subtle metaphor for like what's wrong, you know, like if you have trauma that you can't process, or if you have unrequited issues in your life, they will eventually just get worse and they'll end up killing you, right? And it's important to kind of sanitize those wounds and clean them out. And our main character doesn't do that. And he gets sicker and sicker throughout the book. And like I said, we don't call a ton of attention to it, but it was this idea that there's this problem. And the symbolism for that is a wound that doesn't heal. So last night I had to come down here, and I was working on a bunch of things, updates for the Kickstarter and things like that, adding shipping to a couple of European countries. And I wanted to put something on. And I opened up YouTube because a lot of the stuff that I want to watch, they don't really have good rips for. I can't buy Blu-rays. And I was kind of thinking about like, what movie do I want to watch? And I don't know if you're a big horror guy, Jay, but one of my favorite movies from the 80s is a vampire movie called Fright Night. And Fright Night's on streaming everywhere. It's Chris Sarandon, Roddy McDowall, William Ragsdale, Amanda Beers, right? But they made a sequel to Fright Night. Fright Night 2, which is Chris Sarandon's sister comes for revenge. And I love this movie. I watched it. I probably rented it like a dozen times from West Coast Video when I was a kid. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if Fright Night 2 is on YouTube, because like they don't have a Blu-ray.
Wait. Real quick pulse. For anyone out there that's watching this, that's young, when he said he rented it at, what was the store?
Yeah. Yeah,
What was the
before there
store?
were streaming services.
Yeah, before
West
there
Coast
was- you
Video.
you would go to a store, and they would have a selection of DVDs or tapes or whatever.
Well,
and
this
you
is
would pick them.
VHS, right?
Oh, VHS.
This is
So he's really
this is
dating
the
himself.
this is the best way to frame it, right? West in my town, I rented Fright Night 2 a bunch from this place called West Coast Video, which was a chain. West Coast Video got put out of business by this hot new upstart company called Blockbuster Video. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go to the new place. I like the old place. So it's like, that's how old I am, is like, there was a time before Blockbuster, right? So anyway, so my point is, sorry, this long-winded story. So there's a bit in Fright Night 2, and I'm not really spoiling too much, right? But there's a bit in Fright Night 2 where our main character cuts
Wait. Dude, you know how old that movie is? Where like you need to say, people don't say spoilers for something after it's a month old. Come on.
Okay. So there's a bit where he cuts himself shaving, and he's got this little mark on his neck, like a little cut. And when he meets the vampire in the movie, she kind of like seduces him, gives him the glamour or whatever, and she starts kissing him, and then you think she's going to go bite him. She doesn't bite him. She just drags her tooth lightly along the cut on his neck and like gets a little bit of blood on her fang and kind of like drives her crazy, but it also kind of gets him sick. And for like the rest of the movie, until he gets over it, like he's got an extra Band-Aid on it and there's blood seeping through it. And I'm watching this and I'm like, no, that's where I got that from. Like, I didn't steal it directly, but that was in there somewhere in my mind. Like, ooh, I love the idea that this guy has a problem and it's like manifesting as this wound. And it was just kind of like, and I don't feel like I stole it. It wasn't a moment of shame or anything. It was just kind of like, oh, I totally forgot about that. And look, it made its way into my story.
I think if in all honesty you went through anything in the past, like story-wise, in the past, I'll be nice and say decade, that you can look at it and go, it was inspired by X, Y, or Z and Z. You know what I mean? I mean, because
Right.
it's I think we're to the point as a species, it's very, very hard to produce a completely original concept just based on all what's out there. And I mean, that's included, like, if you could imagine if you could include the stuff that used to be, and just it's not there anymore because, things happen.
Yeah.
Fires.
Well, there's this filmmaker, Jim Jarmusch, and he actually I think he won, I don't know, whatever it was, like the big award at the Venice Film Festival for his new movie. But anyway, he has this quote where it's basically like, steal everything. Right? Like everything that you like when you're making a thing, just steal the shit that you like, because by the act of stealing it is an homage to the people you're stealing it from, and also by stealing it, he doesn't mean copy it directly and do it. But by taking the thing and making it your own. Yeah, I got the idea from this thing, but I made it my own. It's very much like Tarantino says he's basically the first director to do sampling. He samples stuff, right? It's just like, I really like this scene, I'm going to put that scene in my movie, right? And it works. And I think the best thing about sampling in hip hop or sampling in movies, the way Tarantino does it, is I think if you give if you really care about the medium, I think that then you go and you look those things out. Like when I hear a sample I like, I go and I find the original source of that sample. And I have a playlist on Spotify of like just songs that inspired some of the best hip hop songs of the last like 30 years. And that stuff's great. And it's like, I wouldn't know that if this guy didn't take the time to sample it and realize, what a pearl it was and put it out there for other people to enjoy.
Let me butcher exactly what you said. So you just said AI art is completely okay, because that's exactly what it does.
No, but not at all though. But that's different, right? Is because you're just taking a thing and I know you're joking, but yeah. But obviously the difference there is that it's going the generative part that it's going through is your brain, not some like dipshit computer.
Hey, look. I just think it's. I just had to say that because I know people that is their argument for why AI art and entertainment and all of that is okay. That's their reasoning behind it being okay, is exactly what you just said.
It's really crazy though how it Like every time I try to break that thought process down, it just comes back to it's either jealousy or automation. It's like, I just wish I could do the things these people do, but I don't want to take the time to learn how to do it. Or I want a way to get art so I can market a thing and make money off of it faster. Right? Like if I have to like ask an artist to do it, then that cuts into my profits and I can just do it for free on this. And both of those reasons suck. Like they're terrible reasons to do things. So
But, you know, that's how billionaires become billionaires.
ooh, don't get me started. Well, that was
That was a dirty
I was talking
statement. That was a dirty statement.
no, but that is but that was a Tomb of the Black Horse. It was very easy to communicate that story to people through social media or whatever, because the whole point of Tomb of the Black Horse is just kind of eat the rich, right? It's just what the kind of evil that these guys get up to when left to their own devices and don't suffer any consequences. So yeah, it's great. I don't have a lot of sympathy for those guys. If they want it, they can buy it from me.
My sympathy is $1 million per, I'll say an hour.
For these guys, yeah, for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever Jeff Bezos makes a minute, double it. That's my fee. That's my going rate.
No, man.
You gotta make it hurt. You gotta take something away from them. You know what I mean? If you go, my rate is $1 million a minute, and he's just like, that's fine.
Okay, so that's fine. And then if you could literally just be like, do it long enough to where you're like, all right, now I have $1 billion. Now, and just start shifting things around on them, because you
despise.
Yeah, like I don't know. But
if I woke up tomorrow with $1 billion, the first thing I would do would make sure I did not have $1 billion. Like I would just get rid of as much of that shit as I could. There's no good that's going to come from that. Everybody I know and have ever met gets $1 million. Just email me. I'll PayPal you.
That would be like what you would do if you disperse. Because let me see. So if you disperse, you're giving 1,000 people a minute. I don't know though, man. If you do it that way, see, that's where you can't play it like that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, how do I
Not
play
if
it?
you really want to disrupt the system. If you really if you have $1 billion and you really want to disrupt the system, the first thing you do is you go buy the biggest, most successful company that you can.
Well, yeah. I've actually been kicking around. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, and then you just have to change the structure of it and make it to where it's like, okay, I'm not going to be as rich as the dude who previously owned this was, because I'm not going to take that much.
Right.
But what I'm going to do with this company and grow it, as far as make it to where the people that work here, they love to spend their money here. Why? Because they make so much money here, it doesn't matter. All right? You know?
Yeah.
And then you grow a company that can compete with, and you become Wayland, but you just try and never sell out to Yutani. You know what I mean?
Okay,
right?
I like the way you buttoned that up. That was very good.
Yeah, or get as evil as Wayland for that matter, you know. But when it's 5 or 6 generations down, it's probably going to get screwy, because that's just how it happens.
I've been kicking around an idea for a story, kind of tentatively titled "Rich Guy Shit." Do you remember a little while ago when Warner Brothers did not put out Batwoman? Like they had a finished movie, and they were like, "Actually, we make more money if we don't put it out." And then everyone was like, "How does that work?" And it's like, it's just rich guy shit. They have all these weird tax things that we don't understand because we don't have that kind of money. And the idea is like, the idea behind this, the impetus behind the story is like, how actually would you defund a billionaire, right? Like what, again, take in mind, like, some science fiction principle or whatever, you have the best hacker in the world or whatever. Like, how could you actually get this guy to go from a billionaire to being broke? How could you manifest that, right? And it would be a lot of like, what's that movie, The Big Short, right? Where they explain like the housing crisis of 2008. And it's not a very entertaining movie, but like they try to break it down for you and just sort of get into like, this is actually how you would do it.
We need to restart this whole commercial because people could probably hear Pokemon in the background.
Please check out this amazing promotion that we have prepared with the questionnaire.
I'm the Unknown Factor. This right here is the obscure fragment.
Are watching this show
Yeah, I'll do editing.
with the questionnaire.
So we've edited this awesome commercial to get y'all.
90% off.
We are not giving 90% off.
No, I mean 9.
How about 20?
The only thing that you have to do is enter that code that you have right there.
9.
No, 20.
10.
How about 20?
I'm printing your comics today with Studio Comics Press.
Just use this code right here, right here, right here. Look, I put it somewhere. All right, it's probably actually right here, right here, right. It's right under your chin. It says Quest 24.
That code you gotta enter in our website, and then you will get a Women discount of 20% in any of the items or products that we have on the website.
9.
20.
9.
20%.
9.
All right.
9.
He wants to give you 9% off. I, as well as Alfonso over there on Studio Comics, want to give you 20% off.
You can get it right there with this amazing code. Just enter it right here. Yeah, just right there. There.
Use that code over at Studio Comics to get 20% off.
Thank you very much. This is a special one for all our friends of the questionnaire.
Type in Quest 24 when you check out, man. You can figure out the percentage you'll get right then because it'll show in your order.
Yeah,
Right?
9% off.
It's 20%.
The Questionnaire, the best current comic book podcast existing around.
So happy to have Studio Comics as our very, very first sponsor. Say Studio Comics!
Studio Comics!
Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and do all the stuff that you have to do.
I'm the Unknown Factor with the questionnaire. Make sure you check it out.
Like, what exactly do they do?
Now I'm curious to sit here and think about this with you.
Well, it's like artwork, right? Like they buy a piece of artwork for $50,000, and the artist is very happy that the artist has made $50,000. And then this guy knows an appraiser, and he gets the piece of art appraised at like $35 million. And then he takes out an insurance policy on it or whatever, however they make money. But all of a sudden it's like, well, I've bought this thing for $50,000, and now it's worth millions of dollars, and I can make money off of that however they make, or tie up taxes or use it as investments or whatever. And it's like there's tons of stuff like this. It's the same thing with offshore accounts, or back in the 80s in a movie it was always a Swiss bank account, right? Like those kinds of things, those little tricks they have.
Yeah, you wanna like, oh man, look, a comic is a comic, not a collector's item, and so are all the toys. Let's understand that, and maybe the more that they enforce the fact that things are collectibles and worth values that some a-hole puts on it somewhere and blah 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 and whatever, makes it easier for them to be able to move their money around and express that, hey, here's an artist that gave a painting and sold the painting for, I don't even remember what the amount was, and he literally didn't paint anything, and I don't even remember what he called it. It was a big old prank. It was some modern artist, and they paid him for
The Banksy that self-destructed as soon as they bought it.
Oh wait, that I didn't hear about that. That's even better. See, this is my point. Even the artists at this point that are at that level are half screwing with the rich people. Are they screwing with the rich people to let us know that the rich people are using this to screw everyone else? And again, this is why they want you to think that some comic that just came out 4 weeks ago is worth an ungodly amount. Shut up, it's a book. Go read and enjoy the story that was created by a massive amount of creators that are none of them are paid properly. I about swore. None of them are paid properly for the work.
I'm at like 4 or 5 already, I think.
You know, I don't even know. You've said shit so many times. I don't want to hear it. With the title of your book, I'm over that shit. All right, let's just find out how it is. All right. But man, yeah. Imagine. That's an interesting. Yeah, let's talk conspiracy theories, but let's talk about ones that are probably real.
Listen, hold on. I figured it out, though. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create, just like the Wu-Tang Clan made one album and then sold it to the highest bidder. That's what I'm going to do with the comic book. I'm going to make one copy of this comic, and that's it. And then I have to sell it for like $50,000 or something.
But, you know, if you could make sure that you somehow in that comic had a way that one simple person like direct instructions. Here's how you can destroy a billionaire, and then you don't need anything
Right.
but like your phone and the internet, and you can do it. Like if you could get it to where you made it to where you could probably get billionaires to buy it for a lot more than that, or they would kill you, one or the other. I don't know, but one of those two
Yeah.
things would probably happen. Okay,
It would be a blast to find out, though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
which one would, like, am I gonna get $1 billion or a bullet?
It's an adventure.
I mean, I suppose that's one way to quest it. But really, have you thought that through? So what would you do? How do you defund?
So that's the whole point of that idea is like there would have to be a ton of research. I have to talk to people in finance, right? Like because you wouldn't. The one thing I wouldn't want to do with a book like that is just make stuff up, right? Like there would have to be a real like how do you detangle the complicated finances of this, and then on top of that, not only do you have to figure that out, but then you also have to make it entertaining to read because you can't just have an issue full of text, right? Or people talking to each other. So there has to be a series of things and scenes that you do. But I don't know. Like I said, it's in the nascent stages. It's just kind of like I'm taking 2026 off from all campaigns and everything. My tank is completely empty, so I'll be doing a lot of writing next year. And like I don't know, that's one of the things that I've been kicking around. One of the 3 or 4 ideas.
That's a lot of research to actually be able to do it properly. I mean, because yeah, and then back to Warner Brothers real quick, man. Everybody's so upset about the Batwoman movie. Look, like I don't care, right? They did not put out Coyote versus Acme, and I am offended. I wanted to watch that with my son, right? It was fully done. It was another one. Yeah, it was another one. It was fully done. John Cena was Wile E. Coyote's freaking lawyer, all right? And he's suing Acme. Are you kidding me? And that's the one I'm mad about. I am so amazed none of these have leaked. Neither of these have leaked at some point, to be real honest, either. I don't, but yeah, how do you...
I remember when the unfinished cut of Wolverine Origins leaked, and I tell you what, thankful to this day that movie saved me $20. That leaked version was like, hey, listen, I don't care if the special effects are good, I'm still not going to see it in the theater.
But no, I will say the leaked version had the exchange between Deadpool and Sabretooth. The one in the leaked version is funnier.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember it off the top of my head, but...
Yeah, they cut that down, and I'm like, why? That was like one of his funniest lines in that whole freaking film, and you guys cut it, and then whatever. Yeah, I don't want to look, man. I like Deadpool, okay?
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, man.
Well, I was just going to say they wanted to cut the squirrel scene from the new Superman movie. When he saves a little squirrel from the kaiju or whatever.
Oh, no, a puppy. Yeah.
No, it's a squirrel, I think.
No,
pretty sure it's a squirrel.
It's a squirrely looking puppy. I promise it's a dog.
Yeah, you might be right.
I've watched that. Man, my last name's Clark. I've watched that a few times.
I'm guessing you were a fan.
I did. And that's an interesting thing because I used to like adamantly hate Superman. Like me, I had beef with Superman. Like I just did not. And then I had Fred Kennedy on, and his show ended in a very particular way that it did. And I started reading a bunch of and I've kind of fallen in love with the character of Superman, to be real honest. Like I really, as and it could just be age, and I don't know, but whatever. And yeah, I loved that film. I think they did that film really well, and I think it's the funniest thing in the world when like he's trying to talk to Lex Luthor just peacefully and just like, man, I wish you'd understand. And Lex starts being Lex Luthor, and just there comes the dog, and I love it. I love Crypto. My boy loved that moment. He laughed so hard. It's made me laugh so hard. So yeah, no, it was. But yeah, they wanted to cut that. What the?
Well, here's the thing: they wanted to cut the squirrel scene. But this is what I was going to say because I wasn't always the biggest Superman fan either. But I lived out in Las Vegas for a spell, and the guy who ran the comic shop out there he was just like, why don't you like Superman? And I'm like, well, he's just like, he's a god. He's omnipotent. Like, how do you make that interesting? And he goes, I hear what you're saying. And he goes, and I get that a lot from people who come in here. And he goes, and the answer I always give them is that's a good writer and a solid plot will force Superman to, it will challenge him, right? And that's what makes a Superman story good, is that you got a guy with all this power and all this near omnipotence. And if you can still challenge him, that's really good. And that's what I love my favorite part in that movie is that kaiju scene, because Superman could fly through this thing and kill it instantly. But the whole problem is Superman not wanting to hurt it complicates the mission. Right. And I think that's great. That's the ethos of the character right there. He's making it harder on everybody because he has to do it the right way. And that's great. That to me is an interesting way to complicate a situation with Superman, right? Is that he cares, I don't know, maybe too much. Like, I certainly don't care if he kills that kaiju. It's smashing buildings, but he does, and that probably makes him a more empathetic person than me. And that is the crux of the character right there. And that squirrel scene is part of it, is that he goes out of his way to help this squirrel puppy, whatever, this defenseless little creature on top of all of the human beings. Top notch. That's Superman to a T.
Yeah, because I kind of agree with you. Like, man, can you just stop the kaiju? Like, it's breaking a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't, and yeah, there's part of this, like, I wish we could save it, but can you teleport it? No, you can't teleport it, then stop it, okay? Then just stop it doing what it's doing. If you can't teleport the thing away, if you could teleport it away, do that.
But even beyond that, I think what is so good is that they do end up killing it. And Superman doesn't freak out and go homicidal on them. He's disappointed, right? He's not like, what are you doing? I told you not to do it. He lets his friends react in the way that they're going to react, and he disapproves. But he doesn't shun them. He doesn't get violent with them. He doesn't threaten them. You just see him go like, oh, like, all right. Yeah. That's great. That's someone who didn't understand the responsibility of power as well as James Gunn in this situation would have had him hurt. Oh my God. I want to say Kyle. Who the hell does Fillion play? Kyle Rayner. Yeah, thanks. It would end up hurting him or throwing Hawkgirl through a window because he was mad or something. And it's like, no, like, he's not going to do that. It's Superman. He's just going to go, shucks, I wish we could have done it differently. It's good stuff.
I'm just hoping that, like, between that and what they're doing in Peacemaker, the DC universe kind of runs like the Marvel one, because I am amused. All right.
Listen, I think that's really kind of all you can hope for. I think in a post Endgame, post Deadpool and Wolverine world, I don't really think there's not a lot of mountains to climb, right? Like, we've had one of the biggest events in cinema in the last 75 years, and we had basically a movie that satires the 15 years of movies that came before it. And now I think the best that you can hope for is just like, hey, I want to go to the theaters and have a good time. I don't want to leave going, this is the most monumental, cataclysmic thing. I want to go see Superman fly around and beat some people up and get beat up a little, and then I can go home.
All right. So are you hype at all for the Supergirl movie that's coming out?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. The last couple of years, my excitement level on all forms of superhero movies has dwindled a little bit. I did like the first episode of The Peacemaker. I was a big fan of that. I'm excited about it because I like the characterization of her at the end of the movie. The fact that she calls Superman bitch at one point is the funniest thing to me. And in my 20s, I dated a couple of girls like that. And I immediately see like, oh, this is a big problem.
Okay.
Right? Like, I like the idea that she's a problem.
Okay, so here's a theory, and I posted this like on Facebook at some point. Let's get your opinion, because Jason Momoa has finally been properly cast in DC, as he should have been in the first place. And I swear I brought this up on the show before it ever freaking happened, too, like several times, because I'm like, he's Lobo. He's Lobo. So now he's cast. Like Lobo. Yeah, now he's cast. Yeah, he does. Like, I mean, I love Jason Momoa, but dude, you're Lobo. Like, if he's anybody in DC, and from other stuff I've seen him in, I think he can, like, I think if there's a character that can be like, hey, look, here's our Deadpool-esque. I mean, he ain't got to break the fourth wall, but just be full crazy on a different level. I'm the main man, kind of thing. But here's my theory, right? So he's in Supergirl. Supergirl likes to go with planets with red suns and get drunk, right? Lobo
He's gonna
likes
party
to
with
get
Lobo.
drunk. Like, he likes to get drunk anywhere and everywhere he is. So I think they're going to be at a bar. I think she's going to just make the main man.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think she's going to make him mad. And I think that's why they're going to get into a fight. And part of her's going to be like, holy crap, this dude is really, really, really strong. And I so hope that's how they bring in Lobo, is it's just her hammered on some planet and she just makes him mad.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I listen here, but at the end of the day, I just want to see good movies. And I'm a huge Saturday Night Live guy. I watch Saturday Night Live like some dudes watch baseball. And I was really not super sold on Momoa as an actor. And then I saw him on Saturday Night Live, and I was like, oh, this guy just has like heaps of charisma. Like, he's really good. It's just that he hasn't been utilized properly. And I'm a big Dune nerd, so I love him as Duncan Idaho because he's like in a movie that has very little swagger, right? Like, he is the little bit of it in there, and I think he handles it really well. I think he's a very good Duncan Idaho. I have lots of friends that would disagree, but I think he's great. And again, I just want to see him in good movies.
So, how do you think he'll do as Lobo?
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I think the reason I wasn't a huge fan of his isn't because of him. I think it's because of the writing and the movies that he's in. I don't think the writing in Aquaman was very good. Aquaman didn't really seem like Aquaman. He didn't really seem like a guy having fun. If they write it correctly, and if James, and I don't want to say everything James Gunn does is great, but it kind of seems like he has the frequency to make these movies hit. You know what I mean? A certain area of the dartboard that will make it profitable. I think if he's part of it and they do the character correctly and they conceptualize him correctly, which they seem to have done so far with Superman and Peacemaker, I'm on board. Like, I think he'll do fine. If you let this guy shine, he'll be great. I watch a lot of movies, and I'm not impressed by a lot of the stuff The Rock puts out, right? But there was a period of time where The Rock like really had some good roles, like really kind of shined in these weird films like Southland Tales or what's the sequel to Get Shorty? Be Cool, where he plays a gay bodyguard, and he's tremendous as it. And then there's this off the chain Michael Bay movie called Bane and Gain, where he and Mark Wahlberg just play dummy weightlifting guys, and he's great in it. He's really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've heard that now is his new movie, The Smashing Machine, where he plays some MMA guy or whatever. That's directed by one of the Safdie brothers. He's getting rave reviews, and it's like, look, you just need a good script, and you just need a good director to direct this guy and get the great performance out of him. John Travolta, never a tremendous actor. De Palma got it right in Blowout. Tarantino got it right in Pulp Fiction. And I think it's easy. Like, when you have someone who understands the material, it's easy to make a movie fun and entertaining. I just think that he hasn't had much of a chance.
Now, to take that to comic form, how easy do you think it is for an artist that's to take a writer and like, just, even if it's kind of bad?
Well, I think, I can only speak from experience.
Yeah, I know that's a bit different, but like, it's different but the same. You know what I mean?
Well, right. I think the speaking from my experience, I think that and I've said this a lot, that every artist I've worked with has made my script better. Every colorist I've worked with has made my script better. Every letterer, right? Same thing. And I think that it's the I'm not gonna speak to the job of the artist, right? Like, his job is to visualize the stuff I put down. I give him the springboard and he executes the dive, right? And I think that there's lots of comics I've read, a lot of Marvel comics, where man, I'm pretty much just here to look at the art, right? Like the story is kind of not really kicking for me, but man, like this Declan Shalvey guy is amazing, or right, this Wade Von Graw Badger dude is like super, or this Frank Quitely guy is uh, uh, amazing, and I think that like I think that's one of the neat things about comics is that, well, maybe not just about comics, but maybe about everything in general. I think it's like when you have enough data, when you've read enough or seen enough or whatever, I think you really kind of, if you're paying attention, I think you start to kind of deconstruct this stuff. And it's like you can read a comic and go, the writing isn't great, but the art is amazing, or the art is good, the story is okay, but man, look at these colors. Like I gotta find the colorist on this, right? And I think that's kind of like the sweet spot for me is like being able to watch a movie and go, well, here's why this I don't like this, but here is why I like this, and not just saying overall I don't like it or whatever. Is having that, being able to kind of delineate that and deconstruct a thing. And I think it's that's the job of the reader. I know I'm not answering your question, but I think the artist can kind of I think the artist can kind of cover up or kind of spackle over a lot of the holes I leave in the walls by making interesting transition shots, or pretty much anytime Benjamin, who's the co-creator and artist on the Tomb series, or any artist I've worked with, 95% of the time that they've asked to do something like add a panel or combine two panels or change the action or their perspective on something, I just say yes, right? I'll figure it out after the art is done, and I'll mess with the words, unless it's something very intrinsic to the plot or specific that I have in mind, because again, like that's their job. Is no one wants to read my words on a page. They want to read the comic, and that doesn't happen unless we get the input from these people. And it's not my job to direct Ben on how to draw stuff, right? It is his job to take what I've done. And if you trust your co-creator, and in the indie space, you get a lot more chance to do that. You're not just paired up with someone by a company or whatever. But being able to do that, I think, makes for a good book, or at least it should.
Yeah, it's interesting, all the perspectives I've heard from everyone that we've had on. If you guys want the artist perspective for everybody out there watching, go pick one. I mean, you can even go check out Declan's interview. Great guy. But there's so many different perspectives. But it's interesting from the indie to where it is more of you guys are directly conversating to, like if you're working with one of the big two, okay, make the script, it goes to the artist. And you guys might not even really talk, or they might be someone that you need Google Translate to talk to because they're in a totally, you know what I mean? Or like there's so
Or
many
the communication happens through an editor, right? Like where it's like the editor's telling you stuff and then the editor's telling the artist stuff, and it's kind of like that just seems to complicate the process to me.
Yeah, see, that's also a big one. Yeah, it's the editor. I think, even at Marvel and DC. So yeah. Do you think that gives indie comics an edge in being able to create things that are just have more depth to them as opposed to the big
that's a good question. I don't know if I know the answer, but I will say that I have always gravitated towards weird stuff, and weird stuff by design kind of exists outside of that structure. And it is very much one of the reasons that I am a fan of like the rise of Spotify, right? Because again, growing up in the 80s and 90s, there's one way to become a famous musician, and that is get a record contract, get a video on MTV, right? And that's the path that you need to be on. And now the guys who just have internet followings, or people who just make songs that happen to go viral on TikTok or something, all of a sudden they're thrust into the spotlight. They get the same kind of chance, and it's not going through these gatekeepers. It's more organic. And I think that's great. And I will. Well, what's wrong?
You think there's not gatekeepers there? Go ahead.
There still are, but I mean, but also the means of accessing that stuff. Like Spotify, the algorithm might not put it in front of you, right? But it's still there.
I know. No, I mean, but it. Just go ahead. Yeah, don't mind me.
What kind of gatekeepers are you talking about?
Well, man, I mean, you really I make music, right?
Sure.
And okay, so I've got over 1 million plays collectively on my music. Okay. It should it's insubstantial what I've gotten for those million plays. You know what I mean? Like there's no, and it's because how it's set up, it's making it to where the individual that's actually the creator is getting less and more of it's going to the corporate structure. This is being done.
Right.
This is being done with all forms of streaming, regardless of what it's talking about. It's one of the things that
True.
honestly kind of worries me about digital comics, and if they go that way, and if it could highly affect the creators as far as what they make per consumption, as far as in that regard.
Right, but I see that as more. I see that as more of a function of capitalism than the algorithm, right? Because like artists didn't make a whole lot of money when they were working with A&Rs and record companies, because the record company and the executives would take a lot of that. How did musical acts make money back in the days? They went on tour. They did live shows. I went to see Fantagram Thursday night, and I paid $40 American for this T-shirt. Not because that's nothing to me. That's a lot of money, but it's because I know that even going on tour, a lot of that money goes to the crew, the roadies, the venue, right? Where do the artists make their money? They sell merch. So I'm gladly giving $80 to Fantagram by buying 2 T-shirts for them, right? It's how you support the artist. But that's kind of the way it always was, right? It's just now you don't have to go through errors. I'm not saying it's perfect, and it still sucks, and it's still beholden to this capitalist idea of Spotify that can give, hundreds of millions of dollars to podcasters, pardon my language, and not to artists who deserve it. I 100% agree. But I think you're better. You have a better shot now of finding your audience with YouTube and Spotify and things like that than before, when like you just had to kiss an A&R's ass.
Okay, now that's true. So, what do you think? How do you think it will affect comics in the long run of things, though? Do you think there's and I guess this is something that would be more the big two. Do you think there will always be people, specifically with comics? I mean, because you see people coming back collecting records now, which I think is freaking hilarious. The fact that there are more records than there are CDs at Walmart, it makes me laugh a little bit, right? But do you think there'll be always... Oh no! Just yeah. Do you think there'll always be people that want physical comics?
I think there will. I think this stuff, like a lot of things, is on a pendulum, right? And if I like a quick story, back in the mid 2000s, when I lived in Nevada, I played a lot of poker. I don't now, just because I'm a dad and I don't get out a lot, and I don't have a lot of local friends. But poker was huge, right? It was on TV all the time. Every bar in the area would have like a free poker night, blah, blah, blah. Everybody loved Texas Hold'em. Now, they still have the World Series of Poker every year, but you don't hear about it because it's not in favor anymore, right? Things grow in popularity and then they wane in popularity. And I think that's the superhero movies, right? Like, comics were at their peak in 2015, 2016, 2017, like the height of this movie market, right? Like, they were popular because they were everywhere, right? And now we're on the back end of that, right? Like, Marvel and DC both fired the 2 biggest bullets in their gun, trying to reignite that flame, right? And it's like, it's working to some degree, but we're not going to get back to Endgame, Infinity War territory. That's a dream. It will retract. You'll see less movies. You'll see less interest in the medium, but that doesn't mean it won't come back. There will always be people who love this. There will always be people who want these things. It's just a matter of the scale, right? And I don't have to worry about that because my scale is microscopic. So, like, really, like, how much smaller could it get? I'm only printing 200 issues.
Well, hey, to that note, if you want a physical copy, of Tomb of the Pale Horse, I had to think for a moment, right? Click the link in the description.
There's a lot of them, baby.
Click the link in the description below. I'm sure you can find everything else as far as every other tomb that Ian has made, right? Now, man, I didn't get a questionnaire, so hold on. I'm having to impromptu this bit really, really hard. Right, because it's been.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's been a pleasure, Ian. It has, man. Like I said,
it's been a blast, man. Thank you so much.
Check out Ian in the description below, right? But if you've enjoyed, if you haven't enjoyed this interview, right? If you've enjoyed this interview, we're gonna see, man.
Well, if you haven't enjoyed this interview, get in touch with me immediately because I want to talk to you about it.
No. Look, it's been a while since I've done this, man. Ugh. That was all right. So let's retry that, right? So if you have enjoyed this interview, what I want you to do, right, is I want you to go check out Ian, right? Check out all of his works, and then just send him random horror movie stuff, right? I feel like
Send me your
that
recommendations.
I feel like or just recommendations to like something you should watch. Never watched the Serbian film.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh, see, so you haven't, and you know not to?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah. No, never. No one should ever watch that movie, right? But if you didn't enjoy this interview, right? For some reason, Ian's just got under your goat, and you're like, I'm gonna. Right? What I want you to do, right? Since it got brought up, is I want you to tie him down, peel his eyes open, right? And like leave this one hand free with a thing of popcorn, but like to where he can only go like this with the popcorn, and that's it. He can just get bites of popcorn, right? And the other hand, you have blind down, so he's got a soda. But I mean, have it to where like literally, this is the only movements he can make. I want him really tied down, eyes open, right? Thing of popcorn and a soda, and then you just put Serbian film on repeat and walk away. Please don't do that, anyone. Right? For real.
I'm screaming in pain, and it's just interrupted by me crunching on popcorn real quick.
That's all right. But besides that, look, I just want y'all to do 3 things, right? 1, always give it that thumbs up. 2, always get your comic on. Besides that, have a good night, y'all.
Thank you, everybody, for watching
the Questionnaire podcast.
Keep a listening out to these crazy guys.
I had known I would have prepared.
I don't know that I'd made that connection myself.
The Questionnaire.
Stay spooky, stay safe, stay nice.
See you on the next show.